Hey everyone, Justin here. So last time we talked about who was Jay Kavanaugh. Now I want to talk about magical girl sororities. What was my inspiration behind it? What was my thought process? And what is my basic premise of this comic without giving away any spoilers? So I came up with the idea of magical girl sororities way back at the tail end of 2017. Funny story, my now wife talked about how she wanted to know why I had all these female characters in my stories, but I had none that were based directly on her. I said, well, Jay Kavanaugh has a wife named Eve, and she says, no, I want a character that is like strictly me. So I said, okay, give me a day and I'll have something for you. At that point, I was trying to figure out what genre I wanted to try and do next. So I remembered the magical girl genre. However, I didn't want to be like everybody else who tries to do a magical girl series where it always seems to be a spoof or a tribute to either Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura. Then I remembered all the other magical types of girls in fiction, such as genies and witches, for example. Fun fact before we continue, Bewitched was brought over to Japan and dubbed into Japanese, and it was so popular they actually did their own remake of the show. I'm not sure if I Dream of Jeannie had the same effect over there, but I can imagine it helped. And actually that's a lot of why we have the magical girl genre in anime. But back to my story. I also wanted to have a bit of fun with the story. I love choose your own adventures, and at some point I will have the readers choose whether or not Selena becomes a witch or a genie. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I did say spoiler free. With the genre and a basic premise on my hands, it was time to come up with a plot. That plot, I decided that at one point magical beings coexisted with humans for centuries, until humans became fearful of magical beings and hunted them down. Luckily for Magic World, every 300 years a magical being can make a rule-free wish as long as they find the 4 mystic artifacts and defeat the 5 magic beasts. During this time, a wish was made to create Magic Realm separate from Human World, where magical beings could live in peace. 300 years later, genies and witches want the wish again, but this time witches want to make sure that no human can ever find Magical World, where genies want to merge both worlds again so they can be discovered by more masters. As I created this series, I wanted to create even more races to live in Magical World. I ended up with about 7 so far, but genies and witches will be front and center of the story. There are people in Human World who do have magic potential due to having ancestry that was magic. Selena is selected by witches because they feel her potential will make her a great ally. Genies will discover her as well, which is why she will eventually need to choose between the two and who she wants to help. Chronologically, this takes place second in my comic timeline. Originally it was going to be the last, but I didn't exactly want my other characters being very old and possibly meeting Selena and her friends. Of all my stories, this has proven to be one of the most challenging to write, but also one of the most fun. Magic can be very broken in a story if not written properly, so I gave each race their own quirks and ways they use their magic. It is also an extension of their body, so the magic is only as strong as the user. There is also the political aspect of this. Each region in Magic World has their own views of the other regions as well as their own government, and even humans themselves. So I never wrote politics before, in fact I usually try to stay away from that, but I guess there's a first time for everything. So that was Magical Girl Sororities. I hope you enjoyed the video. Follow me on Instagram for updates on the book, as well as the artists of the book. Their Instagram will be in the description as well. Be sure to comment on the video of what you think and subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time.